Stop scrolling. Your focus problem isn't what you think it is. Have you ever had this experience? You sit down at your desk telling yourself, "Today I must focus." But after an hour passes, you've only written 2 lines of notes. Somehow you ended up scrolling through your phone and watching 10 short videos. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The truth is, this doesn't mean you're lazy, nor does it mean you lack willpower. The real reason is that our brain simply isn't being used in the way it works best. If you've ever struggled to focus, hit the like button right now and subscribe if you want more science-backed productivity hacks that can double your efficiency. Psychological research tells us that focus and learning efficiency aren't about brute force or endless self-discipline. They can actually be improved by understanding a few scientific principles. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 classic psychological effects. They're not complicated theories, but practical tools. And once you apply them, you'll realize that learning can become more efficient, longer-lasting, and surprisingly easier. Are you ready? Let's dive in. 1. The cocktail party effect. Make it personal. Imagine you're at a lively party. The music is loud, people are chatting everywhere, voices overlap in every direction. But suddenly someone calls your name and instantly you hear it clearly. This is known as the cocktail party effect.
It shows that our brain has a built-in filter that highlights information related to us even when we're not consciously paying attention. Now think about what this means for learning. If the knowledge you're trying to absorb has no personal connection to you, your brain often treats it as background noise. But if the information feels relevant to your life, it suddenly stands out. For example, when studying the economic concept of supply and demand, the definition may feel abstract. But if you link it to buying concert tickets, say a famous idol's tickets sell out instantly and resellers jack up the price, you'll immediately see how high demand and low supply works in real life. That personal link makes your brain bolt the memory, making it far harder to forget. Actionable tip: when you study, try attaching a personal tag to new knowledge. Think of project management as planning your next vacation, or imagine psychological theories playing out in your relationships with friends. Once knowledge is tied to your life, your brain naturally keeps it. 2. The spotlight effect. Attention focus. Our brain's attention is limited. It works like a spotlight on stage. Only one actor can be illuminated at a time. When the spotlight shines here, everything else fades into the background. That's why multitasking often backfires. You might be replying to messages while reading a book, thinking you're being efficient. But in reality, your spotlight keeps shifting.
Each switch consumes energy, making you slower and less accurate. Strategy 1. Pomodoro Technique. Set a timer for 25 minutes and focus on only one task. During this time, don't check your phone, don't switch windows, just keep the spotlight on one actor. Strategy 2. Clearing Ritual. Before you begin, clear your desk, put your phone away. Create a clean environment that signals to your brain, this is the only task that matters right now. Strategy 3. Break tasks into small steps. Large goals can overwhelm us. Instead of saying, "I need to finish a research paper," start with, "I'll write 1 sentence." Completing a small step releases dopamine, making it easier to continue. 3. The Zeigarnik effect, the power of starting. Have you noticed how often we procrastinate? It's not always laziness, usually because the task feels too big and our brain doesn't know where to start. This is where the Zeigarnik effect helps. It tells us that our brain remembers unfinished tasks more strongly than finished ones. In other words, once you begin something, your brain keeps a mental reminder running in the background, nudging you to complete it. That's why starting is more important than finishing. Even a tiny first step is enough to set the process in motion. The open loop trick. Stop a task in the middle on purpose. For example, leave a paragraph unfinished when writing. The next day, your brain will be eager to pick it up and finish, making it easier to get back into flow. 4.
The spacing effect. Anti-cramming. Have you ever crammed all night for an exam, only to forget everything the next day? That's because memory needs time to consolidate. The spacing effect shows that learning spread out over time is far more effective than cramming all at once. Think of watering plants. If you dump a whole bucket of water in one go, most of it runs off, wasted. But if you water a little each day, the soil absorbs it and the roots grow stronger. Memory works the same way. Application. If you have 50 vocabulary words to learn, spread them across 3 days and review them at gradually increasing intervals. E.g., review the next day, again 3 days later, then a week later, then a month later. 5. Dual coding theory, words and pictures. You've probably heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. In psychology, this has scientific support. According to dual coding theory, our brain processes information through 2 channels, verbal and visual. When we use both at once, memory becomes much stronger. It's like saving the same file twice in different folders. Application. When you learn an abstract concept, sketch a simple symbol or diagram for it. When memorizing vocabulary, draw a tiny illustration next to it. These little drawings activate your brain's visual system and strengthen memory. Don't just write words, see them too. 6. The self-reference effect. It's all about you.
Our brain is naturally selfish in one way. It prioritizes anything connected to ourselves. This is the self-reference effect. You might forget yesterday's news statistics, but if someone tells you you have a great voice, you'll probably remember it for years. Why? Because it relates to you. That means the best way to remember new knowledge is to tie it to yourself. Application. Instead of just memorizing that resilient means able to recover quickly, say, I am resilient when I face tight editing deadlines. The word is no longer just a definition, it's part of your identity. Ask yourself, how does this connect to me? 7. Context-dependent memory. Location, location, location. Finally, let's talk about something that affects exams, presentations, and even work performance. Context-dependent memory. Our brain often stores memories along with the context where they were formed. For example, you study in a quiet library, and your brain pairs silence plus reading together. But when you walk into a noisy exam hall, the cues don't match, and suddenly your mind goes blank. The solution? Simulate the environment where you'll need the knowledge. Preparing for exams? Practice in a quiet room with only paper and a pen, just like the test. Varying the context also helps your memory become more flexible and accessible in any situation. So far, we've explored 7 powerful psychological effects. These aren't just theories in a textbook. They're practical tools you can use every day.
Remember, focus isn't an inborn talent. It's a skill that can be trained. Learning efficiency isn't reserved for a few gifted people. It's something anyone can master with the right methods. So, starting today, pick just one of these effects and apply it to your study routine. You'll be amazed at how quickly your focus and efficiency improve. And let me leave you with one final thought. Your brain is like a garden. Whatever you plant, you will harvest. If you nurture it the right way, it will reward you with growth and abundance.